Second Extinction is a game that I and many others were pretty skeptical of when it was first announced 5 or 6 months ago. But within that point and now, there have been several things that the developers' systemic reaction revealed that gave me more hope that this game would be more than what it is. And did that end up being the case? Well, yes and no. Second Extinction is currently in early access, so with that in mind, I figured I would give my first impressions of the game. Full release hasn't been announced yet, but I'm gonna be honest, if this is the quality we were given in early access, I really can't wait to see what the full release has to offer. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of problems with this game that I will be going over today, but overall this game is just really fun. So let's go over the game's strengths and weaknesses to see what it has to offer so far and see if it's worth investing in. Second Extinction is an FPS game based around a world that's infested with mutated dinosaurs. And that's really the game. It's pretty straightforward, fairly simple, not much to it. It's really nothing too special in the sense that it works like your traditional FPS game. But one thing I feel makes it unique is the concept itself, because we don't usually see too many FPS dinosaur games now, I feel like. At least not ones as batshit crazy as this one. This game seriously reminds me of the 2008 Turok game, but sadly unlike Turok, there isn't any actual story incorporated in the actual game. A lot of the story is just general stuff about the ERA and the world that's now overrun by dinosaurs. There isn't really any focus on our characters as they're just treated as classes to choose from, and that's about it. And just because a game doesn't have a story doesn't mean it's not gonna be good, but I feel like the potential is there to create some awesome lore in-game, not just to our characters, but also with everything else overall. But the early access game is set in one campaign so far called the Tundra campaign, and this map is absolutely beautiful. The devs did a good job with the overall look of the map, the textures and details look really nice, but the problem with the map itself is the fact that it feels pretty empty. There are some things that the map does right. For example, sometimes you'll run into a pack of traveling raptors that wander around the map, which I really like because it feels like the environment around you is alive and it gives me a Far Cry 3 kind of feel. But sometimes the dinosaurs will just spawn out of midair from absolutely nowhere, and that kind of ruins that feeling. The way the game is structured is a little different than your traditional FPS games, at least the ones I played. Not everything is necessarily linear in the sense that the game is doing its best to try to get you to the objectives. In other shooter games like Call of Duty, the maps that each level takes place in is purposely closed in on a specific location where there's no actual room to explore, because the whole idea is to beat the objective. In Second Extinction, once you're in the map, you're pretty much set in this open world-like environment where you can pretty much walk around and just explore. It's not actually open world, but the game has certain elements to it that makes it feel like it's open world. Again, the map is pretty empty, so aside from maybe optional side missions and random run-ins from dinosaurs, there's really nothing much to do besides following your main goal. In that sense, it is linear, but the game gives you room to explore your surroundings and travel around the map. The map itself is pretty small, so there's not much to explore. There are also cool landscapes and caves around the area, but besides that, there's not much to it. But talking about all of this as if it were an open world game makes me realize the potential a game like this has if it was set in an open world environment. It would be like Days Gone, except with mutated dinosaurs. That sounds fucking awesome. In the future, I hope they add more to the map along with adding more maps because it'll give us more to do in the game, but from the gameplay we have now, it was pleasantly surprising. When the game was first announced, one of the criticisms I made was that it looked like a game where you're just mindlessly killing dinosaurs and that's it. And based on what I've already said, it's pretty much exactly that. Again, there's really nothing else to do in the maps, but to me that doesn't really detract me from the game, as it ended up being really fun. The challenge is a bit inconsistent. There doesn't seem to be any in-between when it comes to how difficult things are when you're in multiplayer or single player. It's pretty obvious the game was made primarily for multiplayer, so single player sometimes feels extremely hard just to get you to find friends to play with. But when you find friends, sometimes the objectives are just too easy to beat. Like the Rex objective. I was expecting that to be the hardest objective, so I grabbed my friend Pedro so we could beat it together, and we managed to take it down in one go with little effort, and it was pretty anticlimactic. Then there was the level where we had to fix a fallen ship down south of the map, where me and Pedro were greeted with a whole horde of Styracos, Raptors, Spitters, and so much more, and it took us forever to beat it because we kept dying. To be fair though, neither of us picked an equipment drop, so there wasn't any way for us to heal up because we already used our health packs, so I guess if you want to make the game a little more difficult for yourself, that's the way to go, just deprive yourself of specific resources. And going back to single player, sometimes it's easy and it's clearly possible to beat the objectives by yourself, but the game is a bit more difficult with single players, so yeah, hopefully this is better managed by full release, but more than anything, I want the Rex objective to be a lot harder than that. It's almost insulting how quick we managed to take that Rex down. Speaking of dinosaurs, another criticisms that I and many others had were the overall look and variety of the dinosaurs. Honestly, I don't remember how I felt about the look of the dinosaurs back when the game was first announced, but if I said anything bad about them, I've pretty much come to terms with it now, even with the Indoraptor knockoff. It's completely fine if you're going to be inspired by something, but I feel like they should have made it more subtle, because it feels like they've borderline copied the dinosaur. I mean, yeah, besides the color scheme and the mangled claws and teeth, I guess it doesn't look too much like an Indoraptor, and the overall look definitely fits the style of the game, so I don't really mind it that much, but I can see why others may be bothered by it. As far as the rest of the dinosaurs go, their designs aren't that bad. For a game that's based around mutated dinosaurs, I think the devs did a good job making crazy looking dinosaurs with strange abilities. There's a nice variety too, as we have a teleporting electric raptor, we have a digging raptor, a giant alpha raptor thing, a spitting mutated dilo, and of course the default enemy raptor. Pretty sure there are others that I missed, but these are just some examples of them. And I absolutely loved the fact that the devs took time to add in herbivorous dinosaurs. Not just herbivorous, but armored. And my god, it's extremely intimidating going up against a mutated Styracosaurus and Ankylosaurus. There are weak spots for the larger dinosaurs, so that makes the game more challenging, and the weak spots for the bull and the flatback, which is the Styracosaurus and the Ankylosaurus, are obviously on their stomachs, and it could be hard to try and take them down that way. I absolutely love it. It also opens the door for any more possible additions of herbivorous dinosaurs. At this point, I feel like anything could work. Mutated hadrosaurs, a mutated pachy. Hell, even after seeing Primal's Plague of Madness episode, I'd totally be down for a mutated sauropod. It's nice to see the inclusion of the plant eaters since they don't get nearly as much spotlight as the carnivores do, so I'm really happy the devs did that. That pretty much wraps everything up for now. You might notice I didn't go too in depth with the whole war effort part of the game, and that's because I want to see more of it unraveled before I talk too much on it. But if you're a person that likes FPS shooters or really crazy in-your-face type of games, or even a fan of dinosaurs, you should give this one a try. I know for dinosaur lovers, this is a very different game than what we're usually used to, but to me, it's genuinely fun. So yeah, despite its problems, it does have a lot of good aspects to it, and overall, I do think that you guys should give this a try. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for now in this short impressions video of Second Extinction. I hope you guys enjoyed. I didn't really want to do anything too big for it quite yet, just because it's an early access, and we don't have the full game. So yeah, there are updates to come. There's actually going to be a patch update, I think, coming this Monday. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. I did read upon it a little bit. There's not much to it, but hey, it's something. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I have to say about Second Extinction for now. I will try to be up to date with some of the other things coming to the game, as there have been some pretty neat things announced, but you know, according to their roadmap. But I am not gonna, you know, talk about it too much right now. I'll just save that for a later video. But yeah, for now, I think that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed this review, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more first impressions videos on other stuff that I like to cover, which is only really dinosaur stuff and other cool dinosaur stuff I post on this channel. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and good night. Bye.